Hello everyone. Today I have something very special to show you guys. This is my all new Redstone Clock. This is the new 3.2 version of my Redstone Clock design, and it's designed to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to tell the in-game time. Now if you look on my top right over here, that you can probably barely see, but I'll mention it anyways. It's pretty much exact with MiniHUD's time of day that it's telling me. And it does this by using autosync with villagers. So every morning when you wake up, the villager will wake up also and trip this wire to reset the clock to exactly 6:10 a.m. And that's because villagers actually wake up half a second after 6, so it would be slightly inaccurate if you just reset the clock. It's half a second after 6, of course. And this design was actually inspired, well, more like stolen from a YouTuber called Jazzy Red. But, you know, he mentioned me in his video. That's so cool. That's so cool. Thank you for that. But I'm using your design now because it's really good. But you know the best part about this clock? It works on Bedrock Edition. That's right, I did Bedrock Redstone, and oh my god, what an experience it was. I literally wanted to kill myself. I'm never touching Bedrock Redstone again. But this clock, yes, it does indeed function on both Java and Bedrock Edition. It is pretty reliable, 100% reliable on Java Edition. On Bedrock Edition, you might get some issues with chunk borders. So if you build it within 2 chunks, it should be okay, I think. I'm not an expert in Bedrock Edition, never touching this version again. Back to Java Edition, my beloved. So for freedom lovers who can't tell the time once it goes past 12, I have a 12-hour design with an AM/PM indicator that you can use, and I will be showing you how to build this in the tutorial as well. Now, you may be thinking, with these villagers, hey, you said in the intro that it was 100% silent, and you have villagers here that'll make noise. And there's tripwires. Well, first of all, to disable the villager noise, you can just go into your options here. That is not the music and sounds tab. You can turn friendly mobs off like it did so here. There's also a vanilla tweaks data pack where you can name tag a villager with the silent name tag and it'll stop making sound. I think that exists at least. But if you don't have that, you're on a server or something, you can build this 100% silent version that I also made. Now, I won't be including this in the tutorial, but there will be, this version will be included in the world download and the schematic files that I will have linked in the description. Now, important thing to note about this 100% silent version, it uses daylight detectors, which means that it won't be 100% accurate since the times when daylight detectors activate is slightly different depending on if you sleep or not. And also, because daylight detectors output different signals during the rain, this won't be able to reset if you're not sleeping and it's raining. Actually speaking of that, both of these designs actually won't work if you sleep during the day during a thunderstorm. So, you know, if it's thundering outside and it's not night yet and you sleep, the clocks will not reset. But that shouldn't be too much of an issue because how often does thunder happen anyway, right? One last thing, if you look at all this redstone dust and you're like, wait, this is going to be so laggy. Look at all this dust flashing on and off. Unfortunately, that is an issue. However, I think the 1 to 2 extra MSPT is worth it for this sick-ass build. Alright, let's get on with the tutorial. So first, we need to show how to chunk align this so that you can chunk load this clock as easy as possible if that's a thing you want to do. So open up F3 and G, and just make sure that the first digit is about this position on the chunk borders. This will ensure that the clock continues to work even if you leave the area. On Bedrock Edition, I'm not exactly sure if this will stop it from breaking. I'll show you how to fix it if it breaks, of course, but to locate chunk borders in Bedrock Edition, you want to look at your coordinates and make sure that the block that you're standing on, both the X and Z axes, are divisible by 16. And once you have that, just move a couple blocks over. It doesn't have to be like extremely accurate since the clock is 14 long. There's a bit of leeway there, and it's way shorter than 2 chunks as well. But you're going to want to, well, base your build around this first digit here. And if you just look at the schematic that I have, this is what the entire clock is going to look like. And of course, I will be using Litematica, which is this tool that shows me the ghost of all outlines of the blocks here during the tutorial, as, to be honest, I built this clock months ago, and I do not remember exactly where to put every single block, so just bear with me here. So, to get started, disable chunk borders here. This is your first digit. We want to build down 5 blocks from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And place a block right here on the diagonal. And this is going to be where our input of the clock is coming from. So once you have that, place a repeater on 2 ticks here, and you can destroy all of these blocks now. To build the input, come over here, place a block here, and put an observer that faces into that block. Now we can test the clock in the future by just activating this observer to count the clock up. Now to get started on the orange circuit, I'm going to come here, place a block, 2 blocks here, a comparator on subtract mode, so right click that once, redstone dust. This comparator is going to go into 2 blocks like so, another redstone dust, and another comparator on subtract mode that is going into a block. This comparator is going to be taking a signal of 14, so we're going to place a cake back here like so. Next, take a target block, place it right here, and place a redstone torch on top of the target block. From the target block, we're taking a comparator output like so, and that's going to feed into a block like this, and with redstone dust on top. This goes into a block, comparator, and another block like so. Another comparator right here. This is going to be our reset circuit that takes the redstone signal and resets it back to 0 once we get to 10. A repeater like so, blocks like this, block here, and 1 block redstone dust like that. Block right here, comparator. Make sure this comparator right here is on subtract mode actually, so right click it. And you want to take a barrel and place exactly 18 stacks of items in it. So I'm going to take a wooden shovel. You can use any stackable item as well, but make sure it stacks to its maximum amount. So take your wooden shovel and fill it all 18 slots. Again, if you have something like cobblestone, just fill it all the way up to the top, 64 in every slot, until it's 18 slots that's filled. And you want to come here, block another comparator like so, and a block like this. That should be the end of the counter logic circuit. So if we come over here and we place a lever on this observer, you should see that this piece of redstone dust here starts to count up. Every time you flick the lever, it should count up once more. And once it gets to 10, it should reset back to 0 due to this circuit up here. There we go. Now we're going to build a red coder that takes our comparator output signal and converts it into a slice of a digit. So come around here, where this comparator feeds into this block, place a block right here, and 9 more this way. So you should have 10 blocks in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now you want to extend these 2 blocks and this one outwards until it reaches the same amount. Place target blocks right here. So all the way down here, pink wool over here, and pink wool right here. The torches go on top of the pink wool, like this. All torches on the target blocks down here. Redstone dust right here. Oh, and a comparator right here. and more redstone dust up here, and repeaters all on these target blocks. So now, as you flick the lever that's on this observer, the redstone torches, well, the activated slice should travel along the top as you increase the number. And the fact that it flashes off for one tick before going to the next is what allows the digit transitions, I can't speak today, to be seamless, because redstone lamps actually take a bit to turn off. So this allows it to turn off first before the next one turns on. There we go. And once you flick the lever again, it should reset back to 0. So this torch right here. Nice. Next, we're gonna... Actually, I'm a bit hungry right now. Let me go get some Chipotle first. Let's fucking go. Dude, I'm gonna take such a large dump later in the day. Dude, it's gonna be so big that my number 2 is gonna turn into number 3, bro. Anyway, we're gonna build a decoder circuit now. So come up here, place a line of blocks above here like this. Torches along the top. All on the top like this. Another line of blocks. More torches on top. Another line of blocks, like this. Torches on top again. Oh, missed one. And a final line of blocks up here, with some more torches on the top. Now, you're going to have to follow this next part really closely, as this is the decoder circuit that determines where all the digits are. If you don't, the digits might look messed up for you. So, first segment down here, we're gonna put a line of blocks here. And look at our schematic here. One repeater on 2 ticks over here, and redstone dust along the rest of the line. So the repeater on 2 ticks is on the 3rd slice. Next we're gonna come over here, place a line of blocks above the repeaters. And this configuration, 1 redstone dust on the top, repeater, 2 redstone dust, a repeater, 2 redstone dust, another repeater, and 2 more redstone dust. And then place a line of blocks here to block this out. Next, a line of redstone torches here. Blocks like this. And another line of blocks just like this. And for the configuration here, we're going to have 1 redstone, a repeater, another redstone dust, 2 blocks like this, a repeater, dust, repeater, dust. No redstone dust here at the end. So it should look exactly like this. Just to verify that it's correct with the schematic here. Yep. And now we're going to do this line right here. So this is simply redstone dust, repeater, 2 dust, repeater, and redstone dust all on the end. And of course, place blocks here to cover all of this up. Actually, you want to place another line of blocks above here as well. A bunch of redstone dust all along the top. And then for the redstone torches here, you're going to place 1 right here. Skip 1, place all of these, and then make sure there's like 4 here. Leave 3 empty, and then 1 right at the end, like this. Next, you're going to want to come to this second level of torches here and place blocks all along the edges like so. And the configuration here is repeater, block, redstone dust all on the side. And on the 3rd last slice here, a redstone repeater and 2 redstone dust like so. And And then you're going to want to come to the top like this, place a redstone, place a line of blocks along the side, and you're going to want to knock out, counting from the back, 1, 2, 3, the 4th and the 5th redstone torch from the back. Place redstone all along here, a repeater on 2 ticks, and redstone all along here. And this should be all the lines that is needed for the 7-segment display. So each of these lines is going to control 1 segment. Each slice is 1 digit. The first slice is 0 all the way to 9. And each of these segments here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is going to control each 1 segment of the clock. Next, we're going to build the digit, next, we're going to build the digit and the circuit that connects the 7 segments to the digit. So if you broke the digit, it should be right here, like this. And it's just going to be floating diagonally above the counter circuit, just like this. And now we're going to use line wool to mark the circuit that connects each segment to each part of the display. And I'm going to be using Litematica extensively here, so just bear with me for a moment. Alright, so for the first segment, we're going to go like this, 2 redstone dust, feeding into a target block, and a repeater on 4 ticks facing into the second redstone lamp of this segment. From the middle, let's see what we have. Okay, I believe this is redstone block, redstone dust there, feeding into a block that goes into a redstone repeater on 4 ticks. Alright, on the side here we have a line of 3 blocks like this, 2 redstone repeaters like so, and a redstone dust. From the middle, looks like it's going to the top digit, redstone dust, 2 blocks, repeater on 2 ticks, and a redstone dust. Let's go from the side now. Right, this goes into a block that goes down here. Oh, this should be a top slab like this. Got a piece of redstone dust, block here, redstone repeater, block right there, block right here, and another redstone repeater. Now, there's actually a small bug with this clock that once the digit, if I can flick it fast enough, once the digit resets from 9 to 0, there's a small flash where the redstone torches all turn on, just like that. And that kind of screws up the display of the digits a bit. So to prevent that, we have a block here, redstone repeater on 2 ticks, just like this. And if this redstone torch is activated, this repeater should be locked. Alright, next let's do this digit. It looks like we have right here a repeater on 2 ticks, goes into a block, 2 blocks down here, redstone dust, and another block right here. Alright, and for our final digit, we're going to have blocks snaking down like this, redstone dust, and down here, another repeater that is on 1 tick. Okay. Looks like this redstone lamp needs to be updated. Don't know what's going on here. There we go. That should be 0. And now you can test all of the digits. So flick, should go to 1. Nice. Flick, that's a 2. Flick, that's a 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Oh, that's incorrect. I wonder what's going on there. Alright, I made a mistake earlier. It should be this torch that is here and not that one. So the torch that you knock out should be 2 from the end. The third one should be knocked down. There should be 3 here, 3 unactivated here. See, that's why you always test these redstone clocks, right? And make sure you flick through these digits as well, just to make sure every digit looks like it should. This was 8, this is 9. I flick it again, it should go directly back to 0. There you go. As a side note, on Bedrock Edition, if you're building this, you might have a situation where there's two torches flashing on and off like this. The redstone's all glitchy, the digit's wrong. If that ever happens, you go over here. There should be this piece of redstone dust here flashing on and off near the input circuit. Break it, and then replace it, and the clock will be fine again. Alright, it's time to build our next digit. Now, the important difference between this digit and this one is that since both of these digits represents the minutes of the hour, they'll go from 0 to 59. So this digit goes from 0 to 9, while the digit that we're going to build next only goes from 0 to 5. So, you're going to want to come over here, place 2 blocks down here, redstone dust like so, a block down here, and a repeater. And this repeater is going to be in the exact same position as this repeater. And yes, this one is on 1 tick, and that one should be on 2 ticks. Now you're going to follow exactly the same process that I did for this orange circuit and just duplicate this orange circuit over here as well. So I'm just going to speed through the build here. Watch along if you need to. And now we should be good to go. Now, the first important difference here is that, as you notice over here, we had a block under this, but now it's a barrel. That's okay. This redstone signal won't affect this comparator at all. And the other important thing is that this barrel should have 10 stacks of items in it instead of 18. So over here, we had 18 stacks of items. Here, we need exactly 10 stacks, or else it won't reset properly. So this ensures, if we have 10 stacks of items here, that it'll reset once it reaches past 5. And now we're going to build the red coder circuit again. And again, since this digit only counts up to 5, so 0 to 5, we only need 6 of the 10 slices that we had in the first digit. So come over here and place 6 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then place blocks like this, just as we did before, reaching all the way to the end. And make sure that there is 4 extra blocks of length in the first digit compared to the second digit. So counting from the end here, we should have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then after this, just follow exactly what I did before. This is just going to be an exact replica of what we had here, but these end 4 digits are sliced off. So just imagine cutting off these 4 slices of blocks and then copying this structure over to here. And now I'm just going to time-lapse the build of this part since it's going to be the exact same as here, but without these 4 slices. If you want the slower version, obviously you can just go back to the timestamp where I explained how to build this in detail. But yeah, time-lapse time. Alright, that should be our second digit done. Now, two small things before we proceed. You come up here, you notice that these two redstone lines from different digits are interfering with each other, so all you have to do is place a line of blocks up here, and just make sure that this line has no interaction with this line whatsoever. Also, over here, there is a repeater on 2 ticks, but since there's no redstone dust back here, you don't need this at all, just knock it out. And over here on the back, there's another set of repeaters and blocks that don't take signal from anywhere, so you can just knock these 3 out as well. Right, and now it's time to test this digit, so come around the back here, place some blocks, a repeater on 2 ticks, and an observer that goes into this repeater, and once this observer is updated, this should cycle in between the digits. So let's go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and next flick should go back to 0. 0. Great. Additionally, once this goes from 9 to 0, this should increment as well. So we're going to flick this lever until it goes from 9 to 0, and this should show 10. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And again, the next flick, this says 9 right now, next it should say 10. There we go. Awesome. Alright, it's time to build our last 2 digits. So, come over here. From the second digit, we're going to build 2 blocks down like this. Block here, redstone dust leading into a block here, and a repeater. Now, this repeater, again, is going to be the same one as this repeater, and now you're going to want to build an exact replica of both of these digits over here. And the only thing that's going to be different about this replica is that here, instead of 6 slices, you're only going to have 3 slices. So remember here, when we said, this goes from 0 to 9, so there's 10 slices here, and this goes from 0 to 6, so we're cutting off the back 4. Well, for the end digit there, we're going to cut off these 3 slices, so there's only going to be 3 here. That's for a 24-hour clock. And of course, I'll show you how to convert it to a 12-hour clock later if you need that, but this is what we're going to do right now. Right, let's check in after the build is done. Alright, this is how it should look once you're done. You'll notice that this is the repeater that we started off with, and again, you're just building an exact replica here. And over here, as we said before, this one is 6, this one is 3, so there should be 7 extra blocks of space here. Again, imagine you just build this, but you cut the rest of the 7 blocks off. Oh, looks like I forgot some over here. Over here, there's a repeater on 2 ticks. You can knock that out. That's not needed. And again, you want to test both of these digits to make sure that they're both working. Especially this one, you want to make sure that it goes 0, 1, and 2. Oh, and also over here, you don't need this barrel. Actually, this barrel should only have 4 stacks of items in it. So you throw out the rest of these, there should be 4 stacks. And one thing you can do to make this slightly more compact is if you just, checking out the other design there, you turn it on its side. So you put a comparator there, you transfer the barrel and its contents to over here. So that's 4 stacks of items. Break this, and then replace this with a redstone dust. You don't need these 3 blocks if you have them. But yeah, it should look like this. Make sure there's 4 stacks of items. And you know what? Let's just give this digit here a whirl, just to make sure that it resets back to 0 after it goes from 2. Alright, so let's set up our testing rig. Got an observer, let's repeater on 2 ticks, and when I update this, the digit should change as usual. So like that, goes to 1, goes to 2, and should go back to 0. There we go. Let's actually go in and start filling in the display. Black concrete, white concrete, and just build a big line around the sides. And fill in every available area between it with black concrete. Oh, over here, if you want the little display with the clock here, two redstone lamps just like that. And again, just fill in the rest of this display with black concrete. And my god, it's looking so much better now already. Incredible. And we can go around the outside here and just put a layer of white concrete as well. Ah, it's looking like a proper clock now. Next, we're going to build the 24-hour reset circuit. So, in a 24-hour clock, the hour hand will count all the way up to 23, and then once it reaches 24, it should reset back to 0. And again, if you're building the 12-hour clock, this is still relevant, still follow these instructions, and I'll show you how to convert it back later. So you come around the back here to the last digit, place 2 target blocks here, torch here, and torch there. Come back here, count 1, 2, 3, 4 redstone dust, place a target block on the back of this one, torch, block, redstone dust, and this torch is going to go into another block, and this block is going to feed a dropper, not a dispenser, a dropper that goes up into a hopper just like this. So the dropper is pointing directly into the hopper. Looks kind of funny. And you can put a gray wool on top of here or any block to stop it from lagging, although it really doesn't affect it that much. Place 2 blocks here, a comparator and a repeater, and you want to place any item into this dropper right here. Just one item, preferably a non-stackable item, just like this. And now we can test this out. So we're going to count this up to 23, and the instant I turn it to 24, this should reset back to 0. So on Java Edition, you can just do this to really easily test the digits. Of course, on Bedrock Edition, do the observer thing that we did earlier, but this is just a lot quicker. So it's 20, 22, 23, and then once I flick it like this, it should reset back to 0. Nice. Alright, it's time to build the in-game timer circuit so that we can get this thing up and running. So, this is going to be our on-off switch, and it's going to be up here, this block right here. And we're going to place a lever like this. This is going to be the off position. If you want to put the on-off switch somewhere else, what you do is you put a redstone dust here instead, and then just wire this, off to somewhere, wherever. And whenever this redstone dust is activated, the clock will activate. But we're going to put a lever here, the redstone torch, wool, redstone dust, another torch, 3 blocks snaking down like this, and all this circuit's going to do is activate these 2 redstone lamps, the colon of the clock. It's different from mine, but that's what it is. And you flick this lever on, and then that will turn on. Now back here, we're going to have a sticky piston that goes into a slime block. And then you need to replace these 2 blocks right here. I already have these replaced because I failed, my last recording of this tutorial. But these 2 blocks are going to look like this when you see it right here. You just need to replace these 2 blocks with a block that cannot be stuck to a slime block. So that could be obsidian, it could be like reinforced deep slate, but it just can't stick to a slime. I use glazed terracotta, just like this. And I want to put a block there and an observer like so. And now we're going to build this timer circuit. And why is it so long? Because every Minecraft minute is actually 0.833 repeating real-life seconds. And if you do the math, 20 real-life minutes is 1 Minecraft day. You'll see that this is true. But we can't time exactly 0.8333 seconds with redstone exactly each time. But what we can do is, because every 3 cycles of this clock you get a whole number, we can replicate that every 3 cycles as well. So what we do here is we use an 8, 9, and 8 clock. You add those 2 together, it's the same as 0.83 multiplied by 3. So every 3 cycles you get a time that is exactly precise, and otherwise it's just about 1 tick off, which is absolutely nothing. So, to build it, we're going to come over here, place a block, redstone dust on top, and a block here to make it not interfere with the others. And just going to go around like this. 2 repeaters. Another repeater. Goes into a block. Goes back here into another repeater. 2 more repeaters. And we don't need this block over here. Now, come down here. Gonna put 1 block like this. It just goes like that. Oh, and you want to make sure that this block over here is a top slab instead of normal block. So just replace it like this. This goes around here like that. 2 pieces of redstone dust. 2 more pieces of redstone dust like this. And 2 pieces of redstone dust here. And now what you actually want to do is, since these are interfering, you can actually break these 3 pieces of redstone dust and then wire them down here instead. So these 3 redstone dust are like this, and you can put a block here for them to not interfere with each other. This repeater is going to need to go into a block like this. And yeah, these 3 redstone dust is going to be fine. So again, if you just look here, that's what I'm going to do with the rewiring. I'm going to break this block just so I can see the inside like that. Alright, and then take a repeater output from here into a block, another repeater output from that block. Oh, actually, this should be a slab for later use. Repeater on normal. Redstone dust down here, and here we're going to build something that turns this pulse into a proper 1 tick pulse. So come back here, build 2 blocks like this, just like that. Block here, we run 3 ticks, torch there, and then now from this redstone torch, we're going to wire a signal that goes all the way into this observer right here. So to do that, put a let's put a block here and a hopper here, and then a piece of redstone dust on top of the hopper. So this torch activates this redstone dust into this hopper. An observer like this that goes into a block, and another hopper that feeds into this block right here. And we're going to actually break this block and put 2 observers facing into here. Put a block there, restore this redstone dust. This observer is going to go to a block, hopper, another observer that observes the hopper that's pointing upwards, a block, and then just a long line of blocks all the way until you get to this observer. So I press redstone dust, that goes all the way over here, and that should be the entire timing circuit done. So now if we flick this lever on, you should see this digit start to count. There we go. You can see this is activating every 8 ticks, then 9 ticks, and then 8 ticks. And it's feeding into this. The signal is traveling all the way here. This should be flashing on and off. And this should be counting up just fine. Alright, now comes the most important circuit of this entire clock. I've turned the clock off for this. This is the auto reset circuit. So this is the villager powered circuit that is going to reset the clock to 6:10 a.m. every morning. So to build this, we come around here. Let's start over here. Block here, and another block right here. You want a piece of redstone dust and a repeater on 4 ticks. Block there, redstone dust, 2 repeaters on 4 ticks like this. Goes into a red wool. On this side, you have a repeater on 4 ticks again. And then on this side, you have a repeater on 2 ticks that feeds into this block that powers this redstone dust right here. So what this little circuit does is once you power this dust, this part is going to reset this digit to 6, this part's going to reset this digit to 0. And this is just to make sure that it doesn't loop back on itself. Next, we're going to build our little chamber that houses our villager that's going to wake up every day right on schedule and reset our clock like the good little slave he is. Alright, so first we need to place our bed, and for that, on Java Edition, we can just place 2 blocks here and place the bed like so. But if you're on Bedrock Edition, the bed needs to have support on both blocks underneath, so you need to knock out this repeater, place 2 blocks like this, and then place the bed there, and then reset the place back to normal, just like this. Next, you're going to want to surround the bed with wool, or just any kind of block. Make sure to leave an extra block over here like this. And this is just so that the villager doesn't get out. Place a glass block on the end of the bed like this. Make sure that's glass, by the way. That has to be glass. And then place another block like this. And then now you want a tripwire and string that connects both of these blocks. Like this, and a string, just like so. Okay, now you want to build up the walls of this, again, so the villager doesn't get out. So just build up like this. And on this wall, you want a dropper hopper combo. And you can place a block on top of it if you don't want the TPS hit. And then over here, on top of this block, we want to place some blocks as well, just so the villager doesn't wake up here, as it sometimes does somehow for some reason. And now this is where on survival mode, you want to get your villagers in. So, get a minecart or something, put the villagers in here, make sure that they're able to sleep in this bed, because if they're not able to sleep, you can't reset the clock every day. So get the villagers in here, make sure they're associated with this bed, make sure the green particles are there. I'm just going to drop one in right like this. Alright. Good. So you see the green particles, that means this villager is healthily associated with this bed now. Now you want to get out some slabs and stairs. So just clear on inventory, Jesus Christ. Got the slab, we need the stair as well. You need to put 2 slabs on top like this. Sometimes you can't put the slab up there, so you might need to push it down with a piston. So let me just do that real quick. Just like that. You can also wait till the villager's sleeping so you don't have to go through this hassle. But there we go. The slab's on there. And you want to put a stair that's upside down like this on the end so that the villager doesn't wake up right here and not trip the tripwire. So you want to make sure that this is exact. Okay, and now you want to place a piece of redstone dust or any item, doesn't really matter in this dropper, make sure there's only 1 item in there. And you want to put have a comparator output going into a repeater on 4 ticks. That goes into a block, and that goes into one of the standard signal extenders. So just like this, place redstone dust on all 4 sides of these comparators, and a falling edge monostable that goes something like 3 tick repeater here, 1 tick repeater there, block, comparator on subtract mode, block there, block here, redstone dust. So what this circuit does is once the villager wakes up, it's going to activate this monostable circuit once this pulse extender has died down. So this just adds a bit of delay between the villager waking up and the activation of the reset circuit so that the 610 reset can be exactly on time. All right, now let's feed this reset circuit down. So for this, we need our observers and hoppers. Hopper here, observer here, wool, hopper, observer. From this piece of red wool, we take a 4-tick comparator output, 2 blocks like so, 2 more repeaters on 4 ticks that feed into this block exactly. Next, come down here, wool, redstone dust, a hopper. Just like over there, we're going to feed this into 2 observers, replace this block and this redstone dust. The observer powers this block into a hopper, another observer, red wool right here. And this is the most complicated part. We're going to take a 2-tick redstone repeater output from this block that goes into another signal extender, something like this. Dust, comparator, another comparator over here, 2 redstone dust, and a piece of redstone dust here, and a block that blocks this off. So what this does is that this circuit will disable our clock's counting circuit long enough for the reset to occur without any issues. And believe me, there were issues, especially on Bedrock Edition. You don't want to know. Okay. An observer taking an output from this repeater to a block, into a piece of redstone dust, block it off. And here we feed this redstone dust in a line like this, just like this. 2 repeaters on 4 ticks, dust, another repeater on 4 ticks. Back here, we have 2 repeaters on 4 ticks, go into a block. Oh, sorry, you need 3 actually. 3 repeaters, go into a block, another 4-tick repeater, observer output, block there, another 4-tick repeater, a block, and a comparator that is on subtract mode, and a block that goes into a block like this. And you want to replace this orange wool. Well, it might not be an orange wool on your side, but replace that block with a target block. Next, you replace this block right here with a barrel, and fill this barrel almost to the very brim. Just leave 1 slot empty so that signal strength output is 14. Let's get our wooden shovel and fill almost all of this barrel, just like this. Leave 1 slot empty, like that. Replace our redstone dust on top, and let's take a comparator output from that as well. That should be the entire reset circuit done. So what this is going to do is, once the reset circuit activates and the timer is temporarily disabled by the signal extender, this signal is going to reset this digit back to 0, and this signal is going to reset this digit back to 0. And then what this is going to do is feed a signal strength of 1 into this target block so that this digit displays 1 right after it is reset. Right, next you want to come down here, and we want to place a block right here so that this comparator right here is powering it. A piece of dust, wool, and a line of blocks that goes all the way like so. Place a repeater over here, a dust going all the way, and then a repeater right here that goes into this block like so. And what this circuit will do is that as long as the signal over here is disabled, as long as the clock is disabled, this digit won't be able to send a signal over to the next digit so that it can stay at 6. Because when we reset it, it's going to send a signal, and this will prevent that from happening. Additionally, I made a little mistake earlier. This block right here, I placed wool there. It should be a target block. That way, this piece of redstone dust can activate this monostable just fine. Right, let's give this a little spin, shall we? Let's turn on the clock. And let's take a little nap. When we wake up, the clock should set itself to 6:10 a.m. So let's see. Ah, there we go. It's beautiful. And it's almost exactly synced up to the mini HUD time I have on the top right. Right. If building the 24-hour clock was your intention, then it's all done. Congratulations. You now have a sick looking redstone clock in your base. It fits within 2 chunks. These 2 chunks right here. If you need this to be loaded at all times, if you want the time always to be accurate, you can look up a chunk loader design to keep these 2 chunks both loaded. And that'll be that. And now I will show you how to convert this clock into a 12-hour clock. That's probably what most North American players are familiar with. So let's go ahead and turn off this clock right now. And let's expand out this clock to accommodate the AM PM indicator here. So let's see, first of all, let's place that's our AM indicator, that's our PM indicator. I need some blocks for it, so you can use whatever blocks you want here. You can use signs if you want, but I like this concrete, this yellow and orange concrete design for the AM indicator. And then for the PM indicator, I like blue concrete and purple concrete, like this. That's a nice gradient, I think. And then you can just expand the clock out like this and fill in the rest with black concrete. All right, great. Okay, now you want to come over here, and instead of having 3 slices on this digit, we're only going to have 2 slices now. So just destroy this entire column of blocks. Destroy this entire slice, just like this. Raise it to the ground. You can remove these target blocks as well, and that gray wool, we won't need those. This should be what it looks like after you destroy that column. Next, you want to go over to this wheel right here, and make sure that it only has 2 stacks of items in it. So currently it probably has 4 stacks, you remove 1, 2, so you only have 2 stacks of items left. And now the only 2 digits that this slice will display, or this digit will display, is 1 and 0. Alright, now let's build the circuit that when this shows 12, after you increase it by 1, instead of going to 13, it should go both back to 0. So to do that, first let's connect this reset circuit back by just placing a block. But alright, first we place a target block here, and then another target block right here. That's the 3rd slice, so 1, 2, 3. Redstone dust both sides here. Some gray wool, only on this block actually. Like this. That goes into a structure like this. That goes into a torch here. Torch goes into a block. The block goes into a redstone dust. And you can place another block here for good measure. So what this circuit will do is once it reaches 13, it will activate this dropper, which resets the digit over here back to 0. But obviously we want it to go to 1, so we need another little circuit here. So place 2 blocks here, redstone dust, and we need a comparator. So just grab that. Comparator, subtract mode, place a block here, place redstone dust. And then now we need a barrel, like that, and a comparator output from it. As before, we fill the 18 stacks of items all the way to the brim, just like that. And that should be the 12-hour reset circuit done. So let's test it out real quick. We should, once this hits 13, it should go back to 0. So right now it's 12, goes to 13, resets back to 1. Okay, good. Great. now we need to build our AM PM indicator. So for that, I'm going to use yellow wool. There's 2 blocks here. Block like that. Torch, torch, 2 dust, another dust right there. And a little AND gate design that I picked up from somewhere. Just like this. Place an item in wherever, it doesn't really matter. Oh, it's it's currently flashing. Don't worry, we'll fix that. We need a piece, well, a block that's diagonal from the first hopper. Torch, block, torch. And now this should theoretically stop flashing. We just need redstone dust there. There we go. Okay. Now we need to connect the AM PM to the actual clock. So you come over here, place blocks just like this. Here on 4 ticks, 4 ticks again, 1 tick. Just gonna reset that real quick. Just like that. Oh look, it just reset, but we didn't give it the AM indicator yet. That's funny. Now, the reason we need this circuit right here is because sometimes the clock will already show AM, and when you reset it, it's gonna flick back to PM. So we need to disable the PM or the switch from AM to PM if it's the reset circuit that's activating this. So to do that, go over here, place a repeater, and just a block structure like that, so that when this torch is activated, this repeater over here should be locked. Great. Now we also need to switch AM to PM when this clock reaches 12. So to do that, we will come over here, place a target block like so, torch, 2 blocks, redstone, make sure this is blocked off, there, block, torch, and then that torch goes into a block that goes into a regular repeater. This repeater also needs to be locked when the reset is happening. So we take a signal output from this red block here, 4-tick repeater, block, block, another 4-tick repeater. And that should actually be the entire circuit already done. We just converted this clock from a 24-hour clock into a 12-hour clock. And if we just give it a little whirl, let's turn it on. Let's set the time of night real quick. When we sleep, this PM indicator should go back to AM. And obviously, if it's AM, it should stay at AM. So first sleep, and then we wait for the clock to reset. It's reset, and it's back to AM. And now let's try this again, except this is already AM, it should stay at AM. And wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. It's still at AM. That's what we like to see. Alright everyone, that was my Redstone Clock version 3.2. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope your base is going to look much fancier with a nice digital clock on the wall. As always, world downloads and stuff, schematics, it's all in the description, credits, you know, whatever, the whole deal. I stayed up late too many times making this clock, my goodness, and I think the worst part about making this clock was actually playing Minecraft in Bedrock Edition. Oh my god, that was incredibly painful. I never want to do redstone on Bedrock ever again. So, please like and subscribe. I don't make money, but it boosts my ego, so thank you, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.